Alright guys, if your PC is running a little hot, I got something right here that'll cool it right down. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Michael, super glad to have you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So guys, today I want to make a short video and talk about PC radiators. How to pick the right one. How much radiator do you need? What size do you need? There's really three simple rules to follow. The first one is for every CPU component that you're going to water cool, the recommendation is 120 millimeters worth of radiator. Now, I personally recommend for every CPU component that you're going to water cool to use 240 millimeters of radiator. That is not to say that 120 millimeters of radiator won't cool that component. I like to have that extra, that overhead in case down the line you're going to do some overclocking or you're going to run some really CPU or GPU intensive programs, just so you have that extra cooling. I personally think it's always nice to have too much than too little. So guys, right here I have a radiator that's going to be going in the Megatron build. This is a radiator from Hardware Labs. It's their Black Ice Nemesis edition, 360 millimeters. It is their slim radiator. It comes in about 30 millimeters thick. It takes 120 millimeter fans, and this thing can disperse 1200 watts of heat. So this bad boy right here would be more than enough to do a dual GPU setup, and CPU, no problem. I am going to go ahead and use two of these radiators in the Megatron build. It is overkill, but it is going to give me a lot of headroom if I decide to do a lot of overclocking, down the line. So, and I love Hardware Labs. Actually, matter of fact, with this radiator here, it's one of the best slim radiators that you can buy. Extreme Rigs did an amazing in-depth review on this with all sorts of benchmarks. I'll post a link down in the description below so you guys could check that out. But an absolutely fantastic radiator. And also what you're going to want to look for when purchasing a radiator is absolutely make sure it's all copper and not aluminum. I think in this day and age, it's going to be kind of hard to find an all aluminum PC radiator. They're probably out there, but make sure it's all copper. And then always make sure before you install your radiators that you flush them out with distilled water. Now, because there's leftover particles in there from manufacturing, and you don't want those gunking up your loop or running around through your loop. Now, it varies from brand to brand to brand. There's not, like, say, Hardware Labs isn't more prone to not having to flush it as much as, say, EK or buying a radiator from AlphaCool. I bought numerous radiators from Hardware Labs, and the whole flushing process in some takes half a gallon of distilled water, and then the whole flushing in a different one takes 6 gallons of water. So it really depends on how it's manufactured. Like I said, there's not one that's better than the other. It really all depends. So what I normally do is I have a glass measuring cup. I fill them up about 3/4 of the way. I shake it really vigorously after, obviously, I put the caps back on, and then I pour it into a glass measuring cup, and I kind of look and see how many particles are left, and I rinse and repeat and keep doing that until when I dump it that the measuring cup looks clear. And once that's done, then it's all set. But you definitely need to flush your radiators. I know there's some companies out there that will say pre-flushed, but guys, you still need to flush them anyways. So as long as you follow those three simple steps when purchasing a radiator, or if you're water cooling for the first time, you'll be perfectly fine. Now, going from like a slim to say a thicker radiator at 60 millimeters, you have your FPI, your fin density. So this one here has a really small fin density, okay, as you can see here on the fins. So what that means is on one of your fans are going to have to run at a higher RPM to be able to disperse that heat, to be able to push through these fins, compared to, let's say, a 60 millimeter radiator that's got a lot more surface area. So you're going to be able to pass air a lot more easily through a bigger radiator that's got a wider fin density than, say, a smaller one. Now, for me personally, when I build a machine, quietness is one of my top priorities. I do not want the machine sounding like an airplane taking off, in my office. So what I really like about this slim radiator, even though it has a really tight fin density, is the fact that it it runs really, really cool at a really low RPM. So I can have my fans running at 1200 RPMs and still have excellent temperatures in my rig. And so it's also going to be super, super quiet. There's some slim radiators out there that you have to run your fans at 1800 to 2200 RPMs to get decent temperatures, so it will be a little bit louder. But also, fans have come a long, long way. I've had fans before that would run around 1800 RPMs and you couldn't really hear them. So when purchasing a radiator, you know, your fans are, in my opinion, are just as important as the radiator itself. If you have a smaller case, and you can only fit a slim radiator, I definitely recommend the Hardware Labs Black Ice Nemesis rads. Like I said, super awesome. They work super well at low RPMs. And again, if you know you're all about your rig being quiet like I am, this is one to definitely check out. If you have a lot of space, you know, get a bigger rad. You can get one of EKWB's XE series. They make a really nice 360 millimeter 360 mil. I think it's 60 mil. I'm trying to think. But it's got a lot wider fin density, so you can run your fans at a lot lower RPMs and still achieve the same temperatures as you could with running using a slim radiator. So there's so many options out there. A lot of variables. It really depends on user to user to user. So, but as long as you follow the 3 simple steps of making sure it's copper, and make sure you flush your radiators out, and you go with 120 millimeters worth of radiator per CPU component, you'll be fine. You shouldn't have any issues at all. But like I said, my personal recommendation, have a little bit of overhead room. It doesn't hurt. I think it's always better to have too much than too little. So I would go with 240 millimeters worth of rad for every CPU component. Now I'll give you my top brands. I love Hardware Labs. I've been buying from them a long, long time. Their fit and finish to me is second to none. Their performance is amazing. Like I said, especially in their slim rads. EK is another amazing company when it comes to radiators. Their performance is top notch. Alphacool, another one of my top 4. And then I also go with a company, Primo Chill. Sometimes I'll build rigs that are really theme oriented and they have a lot of colors. And Primo Chill is a company that has a multitude of colors that you can order stuff from their radiators can come in candy apple red to a flat red to, you know, neon green, etc., etc., etc. And they perform really well. So I'll post a link in the description below. If you're looking for a colored radiator, they're definitely a company to check out. And like I said, they still perform excellent as well. So I definitely like using them. So there you go, guys. Kind of an overview on how to choose a radiator. I'll make a video. I haven't flushed these out yet for the Megatron build, so I'll make a video showing you how I flush them. I do use some tubing that I connect to pour the water in. You definitely don't want to spill water all over the fins, so you kind of want to be careful. You know, like I said, I fill mine up about 3/4 of the way. I shake them vigorously, and then I dump them out. I will try to make a video on that to show you guys. So I hope this video helped you out, you know, when choosing a radiator. So that's all for this one, guys. Again, as always, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care.